Hello, my name is Victor Khaula. Today I want to talk about it is not quantity, but quality. Many of us are always concerned about quantity. But do you know that God, as much as He appreciates quantity, He looks at quality? I want to see how God wants us as Christians to live a quality life. When God commanded us to go out there and preach on Matthew chapter 28, verse 20, when He says that we have to go out and preach the gospel unto the whole world, He is also asking us that we go and make disciples. Making disciples is the goal of our Christianity. No matter how many members we might be in the church, but if we are not making disciples, or if we are not reproducing, we are doing nothing. We are not appreciated. But as a church, for the church to be commended by God, it has to do what God wants them to do. Like Francis Chan, who said, "Do you know that nothing you do in this life will ever matter unless it is about loving God and loving the people He has made? If you are doing things that are not pleasing God and His people, there is nothing that God can commend you for." So if you have to do something significant, something crucial, it has to be something that is about loving God and loving the people. That's the greatest command. So one of the duties that we have been given as Christians is to go and reproduce disciples. But before we go, we as the carriers, we are supposed to have good relationship with God. We must clean ourselves as vessels of God so that when we go out there, we can be accepted. Because we are reproducing. Even farmers know that if you are breeding, whether it's cows, you need to have the mother that is clean, that is healthy. But today, I want to agree with Bill Maher. Craig Ogden quotes Bill Maher, who says, "The crisis at the heart of the church today is a crisis of product." He says the crisis that the church is having today, it's not about money. It's not about the quality of the buildings. It's not about the quality of maybe other things, but it's the quality of the product. What is the product of the church? Many of you may be thinking about maybe the projects you are having. No, the product of the church is the disciple. So it says the crisis that we have in the church today is the product. Once we solve the issue about the product, once we improve the quality of the church members, all the things that we are concerned with will be sorted out. It is not quantity, but quality that matters most. Christianity is calling us for purity through Jesus, who, through the atoning sacrifice, He wants to make us pure. God wants us to be pure. I love Bill Maher, who writes in his book, The Complete Book of Discipleship, on being and making followers of Christ. He writes, he says, discipleship isn't a program or an event. It's a way of life. It's not for a limited time, but for our whole life. Discipleship isn't for beginners alone. It is for all believers for every day of their life. Discipleship isn't just one of the things the church does. It is what the church does. You know that most of the times in our churches, we are not engaged in discipleship. Not everything that we are doing ends up in making disciples. We have to be intentional. Producing disciples is not something that will accidentally happen. We have to be intentional. Intentionality must be there. We have to know what we are doing. So when Jesus commanded us that go and make disciples, He wasn't referring to converts. Today we are producing many converts in our churches. But He wants followers who follow Him, people who submit to His teachings and His ways. We have made people know more about our doctrines instead of them knowing Jesus Christ. We have made the test for salvation doctrinal rather than behavior, ritualizing it with the walking the aisle, praying to receive Christ, or signing a doctrinal statement. I love these thoughts that Bill Hart shares. As a church, we need to look at the quality of our members. How do we help them? We need to teach them. Immediately they are baptized, they need to be encouraged to start working besides the people that we have trained. Unfortunately today, it is easy for us to go out there and bring converts. But for them to become disciples, it needs our coordination and go out there and help others. We have to be the change first. May God help you so that you go out there and reproduce disciples of good quality who also can reproduce. That's the process of discipleship. May God bless you. You are with me, Victor Khaula. Thank you. See you next time.